First, let's talk about paperwork. It sounds boring, and it probably is. It's tedious, no one wants to do it, but you absolutely have to get it right. So, do not underestimate the importance of accuracy on this export documentation. You want to make sure you have the classification of your goods correct. So there's the EAR, the Export Administration Regulation Rules. That's what we're talking about in this video. And then there's also something a little more complex that gets a little bit more scrutiny, the International Traffic in Arms Regulations. That's for defense articles and services. That is not what I'm talking about in this video. That is a completely different ball of wax. Certainly doable, but much more challenging, many more rules that you have to follow. So this is for those export administration regulated items, which is just about everything else that's not a defense item or defense article or service. So would of course include the Daisyz Dog Toy that we mentioned. So you also want to make sure you have your Schedule B code correct on your forms. That's the code that tells the customs in the receiving country how to assign taxes, tariffs, and duties to your shipment. So that customs entity in the receiving country is the ultimate arbiter of what the correct code is. But you should certainly do everything on the front end to get that code correct. Make sure it's correct, or you'll incur costly delays for you, for your customer, and of course there's reputational damage if you are viewed to be somebody who's shipping things that are traveling with incorrect paperwork. It's really important. Another important thing you have to get right and be very careful on is the value of your goods. So this is the price that your buyer in the receiving country is paying for the goods. So it might be the wholesale price. It's not that MSRP, the retail price that's gonna show up on the shelves for this item, whether it's the dog toy or something else. Every party in the transaction, you, the exporter, the shipper, the receiving party, the warehouse where the goods are kept, every single person in the transaction bears responsibility for accuracy in this paperwork. But you, as the exporter, the shipper, bear the ultimate responsibility. So get it right and take it seriously. Let's use an example again with Daisy and the dog treats. So because it's gone gangbusters because of that wonderful TikTok video, there's huge demand all over the world, including Brazil. So last week, Daisy shipped a container of dog toys from the US to Brazil. And on her commercial invoice, her export documentation, this very important paperwork, she said each item was worth $20. 1 week later, she ships the exact same shipment, but she identifies the value as $10 each. The customs officer in Brazil immediately notices the difference. He flags the shipment and holds it in customs. You're facing a delay. Your customer is upset with you. You're in trouble at customs in Brazil and in the US where you completed the paperwork. Your name is mud for future shipments to Brazil. The world is on to the next big thing before Daisy's goods even reach those shelves. So time is of the essence. You want to get it right to avoid delays. Why did Daisy do this in the first place, you may be wondering? You know what? Sometimes your customers ask you to do things you shouldn't do. Her customer asked for the lower value, remember $10 compared to $20, because they wanted to have a lower customs value assessed at customs. Don't do this. Be accurate on your paperwork. If your customer is asking for these types of shenanigans in the paperwork, especially around value, it may be time to reassess that relationship. Be very careful about your paperwork is the bottom line here.